Hello everyone, it's Patty Behan and thank you for watching me today. In this video we're going to make this fun runway layout using Dylusions' new clear couture stamps. Also some of her stencils. We'll be using some shimmer sprays and ink sprays and shimmer paint and some water brushes filled with ink sprays. So let's get started. To begin, I'm working in the new Classics journal, and the great thing about this journal is it has different types of pages. There's black, manila, and craft, and we'll be working on the black for our layout today. And first we're going to be working on our background, and to do that I ripped out a manila page and a craft page. And then I have this downloadable pattern of the runway that I made that you can download from the description box and print it out on a tabloid sized paper and tape it on and cut it out. And then once we do that, I am going to ink spray the background. I drew a line at the place where the doorway meets the runway just to give it some dimension. And I want to color the background with some ink spray, but first I want to mask off this star because I'm going to go back and spray that with shimmer spray. So I'm placing it off the page a little bit, and I'll grab my lemon zest ink spray and I'll hold down the star, and I'm going to go ahead and spray the whole background like so, and then I'm going to blot it with a paper towel. And I have a container of water, so I'm going to put that in there so I can clean it later. And then I'm going to place the other part of the star so that we can fill it in with the Pure Sunshine shimmer spray. And before I do that, I want to mask off those yellow areas, so just let me trim this down so that we can place those pieces of paper just over top to cover all the yellow areas. Put one down the bottom and the top there, that should be good. And we want to make sure we shake this shimmer spray up really well, so I'm going to go off the camera to do that. And then we're going to fill in the star pretty heavily with the shimmer spray and then blot that off. And then you can see you have your shiny star there, and we'll put it aside to dry. And now we're going to work on the top portion. And I'm going to trim the craft page to 5 1/4 inches wide. This is going to be the same width as your doorway there, so just double check your measurements before you cut. And then it needs to be 8 1/4 inches wide, so we'll do that. And then make sure you put the round corner on the right side, because that's how we're going to put it in the book. And now I have some fresh lime shimmer spray and the Starstruck stencil, and I'm going to place it on one side and spray it pretty heavily again. And then I'll place it on the other side, and then I'm going to blot that there. And don't worry about that place in the middle because it's going to be covered by the runway. We'll put that aside to dry, and now we're going to work on the page, and we're going to stencil some dots on both sides, on the right and the left. You don't have to do the center. Let me grab the runway here so I can show you where we want to color in. And then we're going to mark a little bit above that line so we know only to go up that far with the stenciling. And we're going to take the black marble shimmer paint and adjust this over here on the side. Let's put some paint on the craft sheet, and I'm using a mini ink blending tool with foam, and I'm going to make sure I blot off excess paint there, and then go ahead and just color in the first 3 rows of the circles. And this is the coins stencil, by the way. And once that's done, you move it over and then repeat on the other side. And now we're going to do our stamping. And I have here a piece of Dina Wakley Media collage paper, It has a rough side and a shiny side, so I'm going to make sure I stamp on the shiny side. And then I have Simon Hurley Stark White cardstock. So I'm going to stamp a sentiment from the Ladies Who Lunch Duo stamp set onto the collage paper. So I'll place the stamp on the block and then ink it with some jet black archival ink. And then I'm just going to stamp it in the corner on the collage paper, and later we're going to cut this out. And once again, we're doing it on the shiny side. And let me put some more ink on there, and I'll just stamp it like so. And then we're going to put that aside to dry and do our other stamping. I'll clean off that stamp, and now I have the Ladies Who Lunch stamp, and I'm going to take this large figure and put it onto the journaling block. And again, I'm going to ink it up with the jet black archival ink and then stamp it onto the left side of the cardstock. Next, I'm going to take the Walk in the Park Duo stamp and stamp these two ladies using the jet black archival ink. And this is a waterproof ink, so I'm going to color these in with Dylusions ink sprays that are filled in these Tim Holtz water brushes. This first color I'm using is Rose Quartz, and I'm going to color in her whole dress. And then I'm going to use the Peony blush to color in the underparts of her dress, the belt, and the collar. And then we want to finish the coloring. You can color it any way you wish, and I've already done that to save some time. And then once you do that, you cut them out with a thin white border. And I even went so far as to use a craft knife to cut in between the legs. But you don't have to get that fussy. I just thought it would look nice that way. Okay, so now we're ready to start putting things together. So I have my top part here that's dry, and I'm just going to place everything to see where I want to glue it down. And to do that, I'm going to use some Dina Wakley Ultra Thick Gel Medium, and let me move that up so we have some room. And I'm going to give this a pretty generous coat of the gel medium on the back here. And I want to get the whole piece, and especially around the edges. And then you glue that down. And then the same with the runway here. We want to get a nice coat of glue on the back of that. And I think I wanted to put this a little bit off center instead of directly in the center, like so. And then now we're going to do a little bit of doodling. I'm using the Letter It Resort Fine Liner pen set, and I'm going to make these row of rectangles down the side of the doorway. And this is the yellow pen in that set. And go down both sides. And then next I want to make this doorway a little more prominent, so I'm going to take a black fine liner pen from Letter It and just make this line a little darker so you can see where the floor meets the wall. And one last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some like track lighting here, and I'm going to use the Ranger white opaque pen to do that. And a good tip that I have for you to get your pen started is to scribble it on your hand, and that usually gets the ball in the tip of the pen moving, and your ink will flow a little bit better. And you can do that for all your gel pens. This happens to be a pigment pen. And so we do one side and then repeat the same on the other side, and that's done. Just a little extra something to give it a little more interest. Now we'll place our fashion models on the runway before we glue it down. And I think I'm going to keep it like that and put our sentiment. I already cut that out, and we'll use the ultra thick gel medium again to glue this down. You want to glue it on the front and the back. This will help it disappear a little bit. It's not going to completely disappear, but you'll just let the background come through when you use more glue. And then you use a generous amount of glue to glue down the ladies, and then you have it. You're done. We have this fun, sparkly, exciting runway fashion page. And if you like, you could add more doodling around the circles or the stars, or just leave it like that. So I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial, and if you'd like to give it a try, we have a supply list in the description box below. Also, don't forget to download your pattern. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more crafty videos. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.